we have another emergency fund question. And this guy says, I understand that a 6-month emergency fund is ideal. My monthly expenses are roughly $3,300, so I would need to save approximately $20,000 in an emergency fund to cover a 6-month time period. However, I don't like to keep such a large amount of money in a low yield account. I would rather put the money in an investment account and just take the hit on capital gains if I ever needed the money. Am I a fool for this? Should I keep the $20,000 in a low yield saving account in a very liquid emergency fund? What do you say? Just the opposite of the last guy.
Well, even if you put the whole $20,000 into the market and the market turns down, you're not going to lose all the money, especially if you're investing in, a fund of bigger companies than that. Sure, if you take your 20,000, you put it into, Colin's newest greatest venture and Bill's greatest venture and Frank's greatest venture, well, yeah, you can lose it all.
No. But you'd be going to the moon with that one.
There you go.
Ideas.
That's right. You're going to make $1 million. But, so yeah, there's nothing wrong with putting it into a large cap stock fund so that if you don't use the money, then it's growing over time. Even with the downturn we've recently had, what did things go down? 25% or so. So that 20,000 would have been 15. Now it's back up. So they're back up to 17 plus, it's an emergency fund. It's not an end of the world fund. It's so if you put it in the market, like I said, with real companies, Microsoft, Apple, Google, they're not going away. They may go down. Amazon went down quite a bit over last year because it was too high, but they're not going away. So you're never going to lose all of your money.
Yeah, I think to Frank's point, it kind of comes down to how comfortable you are with needing an emergency fund. If you think you can get by in 3 months and, hey, I can find another job if I needed to, or I can get through 3 months of expenses and that's all I need, then yeah, taking 10,000 and putting it in the market's totally fine. I don't think that makes you a fool. I think saying I don't want any liquidity, and I'm going to pay capital gains on everything makes you a little bit of a fool. I think you should keep something in a savings account that you can easily get, not going to cost you a whole lot. But by and large, I would agree with that point. You can put it in the market and it'll go down anyway. So.
Well, then there's also the thought, going back to the first person that asked the question, I sort of glossed over the fact that, they said they have no debt. Well, it's easy to have a credit card if you've got a decent job, a credit card with a $20,000 balance. In some ways, that could be an emergency fund. If you don't have any debt and you have the card with nothing on it, that's part of your emergency fund. Now, I wouldn't say, well, I don't need any cash in the bank because I've got credit cards. That's probably going a little too far the other way, but it's part of the system of what are you going to be able to tap into if you lose your job. It's the same with a company. What do most companies have with their banks? They have lines of credit. They pay the bank a little bit every year to have a line of credit so that in case they need it, they can draw on this money. It's their emergency fund. They don't sit with hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank in case they go, no, they have their line of credit because they know, okay, maybe I don't get paid on time by some of my customers, sort of like you're not getting paid on time by your employer. I need to be able to come up with money to keep living until I get that money. It's the same sort of thing. And that, most people don't think of themselves as a business, because what does a successful business do? They use credit, the proper amount of credit. They have the proper cash balances, just like people should.